Glenn, I want to ask you about the changing media landscape. It seems as if the Democrat Party, who seems they're always on, they claim to be on the cutting edge of culture, have just come to realize that more Americans are getting news from social media and podcasting. I mean, it's hard for me to believe they were this naive, but walk me through how they got to a place where they have lost such significant ground in digital content creation and podcasting.
I mean, you're in independent media. I've been in independent media ever since I left the media outlet I founded when it wouldn't let me publish negative reporting about Joe Biden before the 2020 election. Any of us could see this coming. The data has been so clear. Their ratings have been in collapse and free fall. Every poll shows that Americans trust and like corporate media almost less than like pedophiles and syphilis. And so the trends have been clear for so long. But when your entire self-identity, your entire self-esteem depends upon the position and the prestige that you think it brings with inside of a collapsing institution, you're always going to be the last people to believe that the institution is collapsing. I think the most traumatizing part of this election for them was, again, not just that Trump won, but that so many non-white voters, the people who they think they're the benevolent leaders of, who they think they own, who they think they have the right to have eternal support, migrated in huge numbers away from their candidate to Donald Trump, despite constantly saying Trump was a Nazi, was going to put them in camps. Remember, the whole last week of the convention was the media claiming that Trump had a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden. Yes, they were convinced Tony Hinchcliffe's joke was going to swing the election because Puerto Ricans would rise up with Latinos led by Jennifer Lopez and Big Bunny or Bad Bunny or whoever. And none of that happened. And so when you think that you speak and are so foreign, so connected to a group of people who turn around and show that they don't see the world remotely the way you see it, they don't care what you see, they don't listen to what you see, this is almost too much for even them to be in denial any longer. And that's why you see all these, oh my God, how are we going to create our own Joe Rogan?
Yeah, but is there something to the format where leftists, not liberals, struggle in long-form podcasting? They struggle in unscripted environments. Is there something to the new left? And I don't mean traditional liberal values. I mean one that has a primary focus on censorship and war and regime politics that stays away from that sort of inquiry towards truth or long-form dialogue. Is it the format that also doesn't fit their politics?
I definitely see what you mean. At the same time, as somebody who has long been associated with the left, who was kind of steeped in a civil libertarianism with which the left was once most associated, you see a lot of the right-wing movements, at least as shaped and led by Donald Trump, having commandeered a lot of these issues quite successfully. The only people who talk anymore about free speech versus censorship
of course, you're right,
are on the right. The only people who talk anymore about the evils of the CIA and the FBI and the U.S. security state are people on the right, not the left. Same with the war machine. I don't think it's so much the topics. I think it's the fact that there's so much forced orthodoxy within liberal left discourse that people just can't speak freely. They're constantly afraid of their own shadows. You saw that with Kamala Harris. You see that with left-wing media in general. So people sense that. If you're not someone speaking freely, if you're petrified of saying the wrong word, you seem inauthentic. And it's not a faction that anyone wants to be a part of that's so repressed and petrified. And Trump came along and blew through every single taboo and limit without the slightest concern, the slightest apology. And that opened up so much space on the right. And I think that's what made it so much more powerful, so much more able to connect with the ordinary people that the left had a claim on for so long.